This stuff-free the United States election is not going to go away. The chief executives of Facebook and Twitter copped a thrashing yesterday before the Senate Judiciary Committee on Capitol Hill, primarily about censoring content while enjoying protections from the kind of liability faced by traditional media publishers. They were challenged about limiting the distribution of a New York Post article exposing the behaviour of Hunter Biden. Evidence was given that a former Facebook employee claimed there was a program called Tasks, and it was used by Facebook to, quote, coordinate projects including censorship. Zuckerberg, the Facebook CEO, admitted secretly recording all internet interactions of Facebook users. And they were accused by Senator Josh Hawley of collaborating to censor Republicans. Zuckerberg admitted that the laws governing what is published on social media platforms might warrant review. But the US senators didn't miss. They accused the CEO of Facebook and the bearded CEO of Twitter of coordinating with one another about what content they would censor. Well, is that not enough to indicate some sort of collusion against the re-election of Trump? I'm mystified by comments at a forum yesterday, a strategic forum hosted by the Australian newspaper, where Tom Uren from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute said a new policy of transparency from the US government helped thwart any would-be malicious hackers or nation states from disrupting the 2020 election. I wonder what homework these people have done. Some of these people are in dream world, or is there another agenda? On Monday, that brilliant attorney whom you've heard on this program, Sidney Powell, now part of Trump's legal team, one of the finest appellate lawyers in America, was interviewed by Lou Dobbs. Now, remember the argument, everywhere is about software. And you've got a strategic forum in Sydney virtually saying, read the presidential election, everything was transparent. Everyone's taken a proactive stance against outside interference. Those were the words of one professor from Western Sydney University who spoke. Well, have a listen now to Sidney Powell.
I've just gotten some stunning evidence from a first-hand witness, a high-ranking military officer who was present when Smartmatic was designed in a way that and I'm going to just read you some of these statements, if you don't mind, so I get them exactly right from the affidavit. Designed in a way that the system could change the vote of each voter without being detected. He wanted the software itself to function in such a manner that if the voter were to place their thumbprint or fingerprint on a scanner, then the thumbprint would be tied to a record of the voter's name and identity as having voted, but that voter would not be tracked to the changed vote. He made it clear that the system would have to be set up but not leave any evidence of the changed vote for a specific voter, and that there would be no evidence to show and nothing to contradict that the name or the fingerprint or thumbprint was going with a changed vote. Smartmatic agreed to create such a system and produce the software and hardware that accomplished the result for President Chavez. After the Smartmatic electoral management system was put in place, he closely observed several elections where the results were manipulated using the Smartmatic software. One such election was December 2006 when Chavez was running against Rosales. Chavez won with a landslide over Rosales, a margin of nearly 6 million votes for Chavez versus 3.7 million for Rosales. In 2013, he witnessed another Venezuelan national election where the Smartmatic management system was used to manipulate and change the results for Chavez. And it goes on and on. He was in the control room where multiple digital display screens were shown for results and voting. The actual voting results were fed into that room and onto the displays over an internet feed, which was connected to a sophisticated computer system created by Smartmatic. People in that room were able to see in real time whether the vote that came through the electronic voting system was in their favor or against them. If one looked at any particular screen, they could determine that the vote from any specific area or as a national total was going to be against either candidate. Persons controlling the vote tabulation computer had the ability to change the reporting of votes by moving votes from one candidate to another by using the Smartmatic software. But here's the other kicker. When the Smartmatic machines when somebody's losing, like, for example, when Maduro and his supporters realized the size of the other guy's lead, they were worried that they were in crisis mode and would lose the election. The Smartmatic machines used for voting in each state were connected to the internet, reported their information over the internet to the Caracas Control Center real time, so the decision was made to reset the entire system. Maduro's and his supporters ordered the network controllers to take the internet itself offline in practically all parts in Venezuela to change the results. It took the voting operators approximately 2 hours to make the adjustments in the vote from Radonsky to Maduro. Then when they turned the internet back on and the online reporting was up and running again, they checked each screen state by state to be certain they could see each vote was changed in favor of Maduro. There's no way all this was happening around the world without the CIA knowing about it. I mean, that's just logic. This affidavit also explains it's been used to change election results all over the world. And it's all Venezuelan and Cuban and essentially communist money that's been doing this. It's a foreign-owned company, as you mentioned earlier. The president of it is Mr. Neppinger, who is on Biden's very presumptuous and immediately failing transition team. And people have been reporting this to our government for several years, including Democrats, and nobody's done a damn thing about it, Lou. I can't even express how furious I am over this.
I mean, it's bewildering. Do people have their heads in the sand? Remember Sidney Powell's simple but brutal observation: I don't say anything I can't prove. I don't know about you. I just shake my head. What do you think? Not many people swallow the everything is okay line.